sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, my name is Katie, and today we're going to be talking about none other than all of the books that I read in 2024, and I will be tier ranking all of them, putting them into specific categories that I created, and giving you guys the inside scoop on my opinion of these. I will say a disclaimer right now that there are hot takes in this video. Remember that, like, everyone has different opinions, and that's okay. Just be nice in the comments, be respectful. We can all talk about books and have our opinions. Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Now, I do have to let you guys know, at the beginning of the year, I had the high hopes of reading 100 books. I made that my goal on Goodreads, and you know, that was just, I don't know why I thought that I was going to be able to obtain that goal, but no, I did not read that many books. I didn't even get to 50. So I ended up reading 30 books, and I ended up DNFing 7. So in total, technically, I'm at 37 for the year, but not actually because I didn't finish 7 of the books. I'm just a very big mood reader, and there's nothing wrong with 6 of those books. One of them I just don't like, I probably won't read it, but the other 6, there's nothing wrong with them. I do want to read them in the future. I just found other books that fit my mood at that certain time, and my mood be changing. But let's just get into it. I keep saying that, and then we're not getting into it, like, okay, so for the first tier that I have, it's called Fly Me to the Moon and Call Me Shia LaBeouf, and this is the category for my God tier 5-star reads. They're the tippity top of the mountain, they're good as shit, and if you're thinking about reading them, then...
What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it!
So yeah, that's that tier. And then the second tier that I have is We Were All Rooting for You. I'm sorry, I was
rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you! Learn something from this!
Yeah. So this tier is actually pretty good. Like, this isn't a bad tier at all, contrary to what you would think. This is the category for the books that I anticipated to be 5 stars, but they let me down in some type of way. They were still good, but they didn't make it to the 5-star category for whatever reason that was. The third tier is Nice Little Palette Cleanser. These are just books that are solid 3-star to, like, in between 3 to 4-star reads that I would, if you want to read them, okay. If you don't really want to, I'm not gonna shove it down your throat and make you, you know what I mean? Like, you're not missing out on that much, but like, they're pretty good to have as like a bridge for different books. You know, like, everybody needs a good palate cleanser every once in a while. The fourth category that I have is Snap, Crackle, Pop, You Ain't Crispy. Okay, bro, I literally thought that was so clever. I'm not even gonna lie. Every time that I read that, I'm like, is that cringy or is it funny as fuck? Anyways, the fourth category is pretty much the books that, like, you ain't shit. I don't even remember fucking reading you guys. I don't think that you made a lasting impact in my life. I probably would have been completely fine not reading these and continued with my life contently. You know what I mean? Like, you're not missing much if you don't read these. And then the last category is Who Thought This Was a Good Idea? This one's pretty blunt and pretty direct. Like, these are books that genuinely triggered something in me. They're gonna have hot takes. I just need to let you guys know that now. This is the category for hot takes where I'm like, why is this shit popular? Like, why are people reading these books? Why do people enjoy these books? I think more thought should have been made before this was published and made into a book for people to consume. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that in advance that yes, there are hot takes, and please just be nice in the comments, be respectful that we have different opinions. These books just weren't for me at the end of the day. I'll explain why once we get there, but I just needed to say that now. Okay, so those are the 5 categories that I'm going to be tier ranking. I feel like this intro has been so freaking long. Well, let's just get into rating the books, because I know that's why you guys are here. So, beggars can't be choosers, bitch, this ain't Chipotle. No? This ain't Chipotle, no, whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, this ain't Chipotle, bitch, no, 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 what the flippity frick, bro, what the fuck, what the hell is going on? Sorry, I just had to, like, get into it real quick, but Dude, that has been my saying today. Okay, sorry, my mascara was literally falling into my eyes and I could not see out of my left eye, so I really had to go fix that. But I'm back now, so we're good. Okay, so before I actually start to tier rank, I do want to mention the 7 books that unfortunately did not make it to my completion this year. So we're just gonna give them a moment of silence.
Oh, boo-hoo. Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
This is a long moment of silence. Anyways, let's just get into it. Let's just get into it now. How many times have I said that today? Jeez, though, Pete. So for the first book, I have Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. Ooh. This is actually gonna go... Oh my god, I can't even get it up there. There we go. We're gonna put it in the We Were All Rooting For You category because I adore this book. I love it so much. I love the basis of the book, what the book is about, and what it stands for. However, there were certain parts that just bothered me. I loved the writing style, but I really, really, really wanted it to be a 5-star, and it just wasn't. I was highly anticipating it to be a 5-star, and it just didn't hit that way. I think it's because there was one part in the book where you're so wrapped up in one of the main characters' minds that I started to spiral myself because I thought that my thoughts were being written out. Like, it was like I was getting too, like, interstellar with that shit, you know what I mean? It made me spiral and it wasn't in a good way, so that's why it's in this category. The next book that I'm going to rank is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden, I know that she was popular like last year and the year before, and people have been raving about her, but I just discovered her, and The Housemaid is one of the most popular books that she's written. Honestly, this one just wasn't... I just don't really agree with this book because there is a cheating trope in here. This isn't a spoiler, I'm just saying there's a cheating trope in here, and I didn't like that part, so that's why it's going into nice little palette cleanser, okay? Because it was, like, good, it was entertaining, but I just didn't fuck with the cheating in there, so yeah, that's why. The next book that I'm gonna grab here is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and you already know this book is going to the top tier, bitch. This book is so good. If you have not read it, what are you doing? This spoke to my inner child, and I love it. One of my favorite quotes of all time from a book is in this book, the brittle paper quote, you know? If you know, you know. If you don't, read it and then you'll know. But, yeah, this book, chef's kiss, love it. I will say, there is, like, a very political point that was kind of redundant in here that just really, I thought, was overdone, which kind of pissed me off, but I think I rated it a 4.75, but we rounded up because I still loved every other aspect of this book, and this book made me cry a couple times, so yeah, that's why it's on the top. The next book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte by Charlotte. Dude, I have mascara in this eye. If I look like I'm crying, I'm not. My eye be acting up. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, or Bront, I believe it's Bronte. That's going in Snap Crackle Pop, bitch, because that shit ain't crispy. That book literally is so goddamn depressing, and it put me in a reading slump for like 3 months afterwards because I just could not. I had to finish it via audiobook, and it is a really nice story. It's a great story, and very like deep and an important story as well. However, something about it, bro. Like, what am I saying? It's literally about a little girl who is like by a guy who's like 80, I feel like. That's what I was thinking the entire time that I was reading it. It was just hella depressing, bro. Like, if this is your I know that this is a classic, and I know that a lot of people do love this book, but if this is your favorite book, dude, maybe go to therapy? I don't know. Sorry, I just said what I said. I do have to give it the respect that it deserves, though, because it is a freaking classic, so that's why it's not going to Who Thought This Was a Good Idea. It's going to Snap, Crackle, Pop. The next book that I have is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, and this is going to Who Thought This Was a Good Idea. Tricked ya. Yeah, this book, I wanted this so badly to be a good book because I loved Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I love the cover of this. I love her writing style, and I really had high hopes for this. I did not know why so many people said that this book sucked, and I was reading it, and I was like, okay, it's like an easy, like, palate cleanser, right? Like, it's a little palate cleanser. I was, like, enjoying it, and then I was like, wait, it might be a 4-star. Like, this is getting good. Like, this is getting good. And then the fucking plot twist, dude, no, that absolutely ruined the book for me, and I just want to know who thought, whether it was Carly or if it was her publicist or her editor, who the fuck thought that that plot twist deserved to be in that book. I don't know, but it ruined the book for me. That shit is going on the bottoms here. I'm so sorry, Carly. You really let me down with that one, but I am going to be getting your next book that's coming out in 2025, so don't even worry about it. I'm just saying, don't be making those plot twists like that anymore, because that absolutely ruined the book. The rest of the book was pretty good, but yeah, no, what the hell was that? I don't know. Not for me, not for me. Okay, the next book that I have is Ricochet, which is the second book in the Addicted Calloway, or in the Addicted series specifically, but it's in the Addicted Calloway Sisters dual series by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This one, I wanted it to be a 5-star so bad. I rated the first book in the series a 5-star. However, I feel like because of how small it was missing something. It made me excited to learn more about different relationships that are in this entire series, but part of me was like, what's the point? Like, after I finished it, I was like, I really, like, feel like I understand why this book was made in the series and why this entire book is important in the series, or why it could be, but I also feel like it's kind of just like a filler and we could have been fine without it. I will know more once I actually continue the rest of the series, but the second book, really, I was anticipating more. It was still a 4-star, still love it, chef's kiss. I think that this is going to be one of my favorite series of all time, but yes, that's going in the second category for now. Alright, and then I have... Let's see, actually. One second. Well, wait, second. I have to make sure that I'm doing this right. Alright. Okay. Hey. Alright, okay. Oops, I'm accidentally moving this shit. Why is this doing this shit to me? Why are you doing that to me? The next book that I'm gonna be going to rate is... It is going to be... The next book that I'm gonna rate is going to be The Score by Elle Kennedy, and that's gonna go a nice little palate cleanser because maybe this is an unpopular opinion, I still love this series so much and I really did enjoy this book. However, it is so freaking smutty, dude. Like, it's like way too much for me, where I just felt like there was literally no plot and it was just straight up banging the entire time, which is totally cool, but just not for me. So it was a nice little palate cleanser, but it was not an all-time favorite book, and honestly, I feel like this is probably my least favorite out of the 4 books that I've read in the off-campus series so far, so yeah, that might be a hot take and an unpopular opinion, but it was good. It wasn't bad. Obviously, I love this series so much. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend you read the entire series. I still have yet to read the last one, but this is the 3rd one in the book, and it just didn't hit. It just didn't hit the way that the other ones did, okay? So, actually, we're just gonna go into the next book in that series, which is The Goal. This is the 4th book in the off-campus series. This one is going in the We Were All Rooting For You category because I really wanted this to be a 5-star, and it was very close to being one. I think that this is my 2nd favorite in the series so far. So good. I love this one. But it just wasn't a 5-star directly. So it was just a solid 4, in between a 4 and a 5-star, so we're putting it in the We Were All Rooting For You. Yeah, definitely recommend that series, y'all. I swear, it's really good. It's hyped up a lot, but it's hyped up for a reason. And it's valid. The next book that I have is, what is this called? Oh, Between Two Kingdoms. See? Okay. You guys already know where I'm gonna put this. This is Between Two Kingdoms. And this one is going in Snap, Crackle, Pop, You Ain't Crispy. This is a memoir, and it's a medical memoir. And it was really interesting, but it lost me, like, at the second half of the book, and I just did not really care. No offense, girl, but, like, I just really didn't care. And it took, like, a weird turn, and it ended up not being really medically related, and I was hoping that it was, like, a medically related story, and it was just going all over the place. I don't know. So yeah, I feel like I could have been fine without reading this ever in my life and been content. Some people get mad when you rate memoirs, but like there's good memoirs and there's not so great memoirs. And like this one just wasn't for me. Okay, that's just all that I'm gonna say. I do think that the beginning of the story was really interesting. Honestly, it lost me halfway through. Alright, the next one that we're gonna be putting up top is Culty by Mariana Zapata, and this one might be a biased opinion because it is about soccer, and I was a soccer girly growing up all my life, but yeah, Culty, definitely recommend. It's a slow burn, so if you don't like slow burns, honestly, if you don't like slow burns, read this book anyway, because this book, the slow burn, only Mariana Zapata, so far, that I've read, has killed slow burns like that, and this is just chef's kiss. Like, I love this shit so much. Definitely, a great read. So, you should read it. Okay, we're just gonna fucking get it over with. Happy Place by Emily Henry. Y'all don't kill me, but who thought this was a good idea? I'm so sorry. Please don't roast me. I've said this to a couple people now, and like, they're very offended that I didn't like it, but I have mixed reviews about Emily Henry, okay? Happy Place just wasn't for me. I could not get over the plot. I thought that the plot was just so silly because, like, girl, those people that you think are your besties are not your besties, because if you're so scared to tell them about what's going on in your life and you're thinking that they're gonna, like, dip out of your life if you tell them, they're not your fucking friends, bro. Like, what? Just communicate. Be honest. Like, I just could not get over. I'm like, this is the stupidest plot ever. I wanted to like this so bad, and I was so excited to read it because everyone loves it, but I just really, really think that the plot was just not it for me, at least. So yeah, who thought this was a good idea? I don't know. Don't come for me, I'm scared. Okay. The next book that I'm gonna rate, because it's also by Emily Henry, is Book Lovers, and I actually do like this one. This one is my favorite book by Emily Henry, I would say. Honestly, I don't really know why, but this also might be an unpopular opinion. I don't think that this book gets enough recognition, but it actually is really good, and I think that it was pretty relatable to me, so maybe that's why. But yeah, definitely a 4-star, solid, good read right there. Book Lovers is it, not Happy Place. The next book that I'm gonna put into a category is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Yet again, there's a lot of Frida McFadden books on here. I ended the end of the year off really strong with Frida McFadden. I literally could not stop going down the rabbit hole. I'm gonna put The Teacher by her in the third category because this one also had a cheating trope, and it also was just really long. Like, this was like over 400 pages, I think, which is really long for a thriller, I feel like. It was really good, and I love her books, absolutely. I definitely recommend all of her books that I've read so far, but the cheating trope, I refuse to put like that high because no, not for me. Not for me. I don't know. It is a really good, any book by Frida McFadden will help you get out of a freaking reading slump. So if you're in a reading slump right now, read one of her books and you'll be good. But The Teacher specifically, I think that although it was good, it's just not, it was like in between a 3 to 4 star for me, probably like a 4-star, but it doesn't deserve to be next to all the other books that are currently in the second category right now. So that's why it's in the third category. Let's talk about a good Frida McFadden book. We have The Inmate, and that is going to fly me to the moon and call me Shia LaBeouf, bitch, because this is the first book that I read by Frida McFadden, so maybe that's why I'm a little biased, but it is so good, you guys, and I think that I also enjoyed it because there was a little touch of medicine in there, and I work in the medical field, so like this one, I definitely, yeah, I like this one a lot. This one was just like, holy shit, it made me literally go down a rabbit hole of Frida McFadden, so it definitely deserves to be on the top tier. The next book that I'll rate is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This one is the first book, and it's actually a part of a series, but this is an adult thriller, mystery thriller, and this one just didn't do it for me. This is going in the You Ain't Crispy category because I would have been completely fine not reading this book. I was recommended it to me by a coworker, and I was so excited because it's also supposed to be a movie pretty soon. So I was like, oh my God, I need to get on that bandwagon before the movie comes out. And it really like did not live up to the hype that I put inside my head. So yeah, I could have been completely content without reading it. And I had to read it via audiobook after like the second half because it was just really long, and also I just didn't really care about it. So that's going in there. Let's see. The next book that I'm going to be rating is Ghosted by J.M. Darhauer, I believe. I think that's the author, maybe. Yeah, this one's going to fly me in the moon, obviously. It's really good. Yeah, I honestly don't really know what else to say about it other than that it's pretty good. It almost made me cry a couple of times, and it's one of my favorite romances. So yeah, that's why it's on the top tier. Duh. Now we are going to get into it. All right. So the next book that we'll get into is What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. This one is going to go into nice little palate cleanser because I feel like I had high hopes for this one, but it's a YA, and I totally thought that it was going to be like House of Anubis vibes, which is why I picked it up, and it just wasn't. I mean, it like talked about Egypt and stuff. It takes place in Egypt, but like it was not House of Anubis. That's why I was upset. It was really good, though. I still enjoyed it, but I think that I'm a little too old to be reading YA books that are not at least mystery thrillers. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they hit, but a lot of the times I'm like, why am I reading this? Like, I just can tell that it's a YA book, if that makes sense. So it's still good. I feel like I would have loved this more when I was younger, but it was just a fine little palate cleanser for now. The next one, let's see, actually, I need to like make sure that I'm putting these in the right category, dude. All right. Next book that I'm going to be rating is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. This one is going to go into Snap, Crackle, Pop, You Ain't Crispy. Again, this one was pretty good. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't anything special, and it's honestly pretty forgettable. I think that I only remember them eating oysters or something at like a restaurant. I don't remember much about this, and I didn't really care for it too much. I am still rooting for Carly Fortune, and I'm excited for her next book, but yeah, this one just didn't do it for me. I think I would have been content without reading it. And there also was like, this has your best friend's brother trope, and that just seems shady as fuck, so yeah. Not for me. It just wasn't for me, okay? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't my favorite book, and it wasn't like that great of a palate cleanser for me, so yeah, that's why that's going in there. The next book is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This one is gonna be in We Were All Rooting for You because I really wanted this one to be a 5-star, and I was highly anticipating it. This is one of my favorite books by Frida McFadden, aside from The Inmate. It was kind of predictable in like a little bit of a way. It's kind of a spin of The Shining, and I remember reading it and I was like, why does this sound like this book reminds me of something, and I can't remember what it is. And I was like, is it The Shining? And then in this book, they literally reference The Shining. It is really good. This is one of my favorites, obviously. It just wasn't a complete 5-star for me, so I'm putting it in the We Were All Rooting for You category. I'm also going to put Marilyn Monroe's memoir in the We Were All Rooting for You category because this one is actually really good. It's really interesting. I think this might be a biased opinion because Marilyn Monroe is like a controversial person, or was, but I've always just found her super interesting, and she may have felt misunderstood, bitch, but I always understood her, okay? And I've always been fascinated with her, so I read this book. This is her memoir. It's actually her manuscript of what was going to be her autobiography, or biography. Is autobiography by the person? I think so. I forget. I'm pretty sure. Whatever. Memoir. Okay, we're gonna go with memoir. She was in the middle of writing her memoir, autobiography, or whatever the freaking right term is, and then she ended up passing away. So this was the manuscript that she had written when she was beginning to write the book, and it just cuts off abruptly because they didn't change anything about it. So I think that it's just beautiful. There's also amazing imagery in here and photographs of her that are beautiful. So I definitely loved it, but it wasn't an all-time favorite for me just because it cut off so quickly and I wanted to learn more about her, and it didn't. But I appreciate the book so much. Like, it definitely is a very high-rated book for me. And if you think Marilyn Monroe is interesting, you definitely should read this because it's her straight-up words. So, yeah. Mad respect for the people who published this, too, and keeping it 100% authentic. Love that. And the photographs are amazing. All right. The next book is gonna be the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. Okay, this is technically 5 books. So technically I've read 42 books this year, if we're going to be technical, okay? So not including the DNF books, I would have completed 35 books, but including the DNF books, I would have completed 42 books, which is pretty good. But Goodreads only counts as 1 book, so we're just going to be putting it as 1 book, okay? And being honest. This one is going into who thought this was a good idea. Yeah, I read this and I straight up was like, I need to either go to church, pray, or sage the shit out of my room because what the fuck did I just read? I am kind of concerned at how popular this one is. It's good, but there's grammar issues in it. It is an indie book, but it's also just like mad, like creepy, like very horrific, and I'm just not like a horror person. But I also genuinely know people who think the same way as this serial killer in the book, and it freaked me out a little bit. I just don't think that this type of book should be written. Like, I don't think that people should be reading this. It's just very fucked up. Like, it's just not, and not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like your average type of book. Like, the Mindfuck series is just like so graphic and horrific and just absolutely, I don't think people should be consuming this type of content. I straight up was like, I felt like I had sinned. I felt like I was like a bad person for reading this book, and I don't want to ever consume shit like that again. So, some people want to, not for me, okay? Moving on. The next book that I have is Normal People by Sally Rooney, and this one is actually going to go in We Were All Rooting for You. I knew that this was a controversial book when I first picked it up. People either love it or hate it. I read this in one sitting. I liked it. I think that it was a good palate cleanser, but I think that it was more than just a palate cleanser for me. It was not what I thought what it was about. I was surprised when I was reading it because I was like, hold on a second. Like, what? I literally was like, hang on. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, it is really good. I think that it's worth the hype. Also, people say that she doesn't use quotes, apparently, in this book. I noticed grammar issues, but I never noticed her not using quotes. So, I don't know. But, yeah, it didn't bother me. So maybe that's why it was a We Were All Rooting for You thing. Yeah, this is definitely a pretty good book. It's not a 5-star for me, but it was a good read, and I would recommend it. So, yeah. All right, the next book that I have is This Is How You Lose the Time War. And this one is gonna go in Snap, Crackle, Pop, You Ain't Crispy. This one, oh wait, do I want to put it in there or do I want to put it in Nice Little Palette Cleanser? No, we're gonna keep it in You Ain't Crispy because this book is just confusing as hell. Like, I read it in one sitting and I was super entertained because I was trying to figure out the plot of the book and what the hell was going on in it. But then it just like made this like weird switch, and I just feel like I could have gone without reading this book and been completely fine. This might be an unpopular opinion, I liked the beginning of the book when it was metaphorical versus like when it got to be like very direct. It almost, okay, I could literally maybe I shouldn't put it in You Ain't Crispy because I've thought about this book a lot. No, we're keeping it there. I'm so indecisive, bro. I think that this is really cool because This Is How You Lose the Time War is about time travel, and I think what I could infer from this book is that the writing style from the author is like at the beginning, he's writing extremely metaphorical. You have it's all for interpretation. You have no idea what the hell the book is about. And then it slowly becomes like an actual plot line and very direct and like you know exactly what's going on. And I think that that is trying to signify how writing has changed over a period of time. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I thought. How like back in the olden days and when like classical literature, it's always been very metaphorical and like it's more interpretive versus now it's just very blunt and like you get the plot and that's it. Also, the ending reminded me a lot of Divine Rivals for some reason, but I loved the metaphorical writing and trying to figure that out, and the like writing back and forth was really cute. It almost made me cry actually during the metaphorical part because I think that I was just trying to figure out a lot of shit and it was making me like internalize almost things. So I liked that part, but the end was just like, I don't know. It was just a weird book. I'm talking way too much about it. Maybe it deserves to be in a different category now that I'm talking about it so much. I think that you're fine without reading it. Like, I don't think that, no, we're keeping it. And we're keeping it in the 4th category. End of discussion. Okay, moving on. The next book is The Night Circus. And this one is going to go in We Were All Rooting for You because this one is really good. It's very descriptive. I felt like I was straight up in the circus, like, and this got me excited for the fall season. I read this at the beginning of August and it made me so excited for the fall time. It's so descriptive and beautiful, beautiful writing, but it is extremely long and I had to finish it via audiobook because of how long it was. The end was just kind of like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I kind of forgot because I was so lost in the trance of like being present in the circus, you know what I mean? I'm putting it in the 2nd category because it's a beautiful story, beautifully written, amazing, amazing writing. Like, to make me genuinely feel like I'm walking around a circus tent is crazy. And yeah, it was super good, very compelling. It just was really long, and towards the end, I kind of didn't really understand the point. And I also didn't really understand the plot twist, but it's still a great book. And I understand why a lot of people like it, so that's why it's going in that category. Okay, the next book is going to be The Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and this one's going to Fly Me in the Moon, bitch. This is one of my favorite all-time books ever, and also one of my favorite books of this year as well. It's a cozy fantasy. If you have not read it, you're definitely missing out. I definitely recommend it. I literally felt like when I was reading this, talk about writing style, the writing style of this is so just beautifully like illustrative and so like intentful. Like, I straight up, when I was reading this, I was so cozy and I genuinely felt like there was fairy dust sprinkled on the pages and it was getting into my fucking eyes and I was tripping on fucking shrooms. Like, I thought that I was inhaling. Like, this shit was so good. And when I was sitting there, I did not want to move. I read this in one sitting. And also, I remember looking at the word choice that she made and I was like, wow, like, she was very intentful about this. And then it made me appreciate like authors creating books and like realizing that they are intentful for their word choice. It was just so good, you guys. It's a beautiful journey. It kind of reminds me a lot of Chronicles of Narnia. It wasn't an ultimate 5-star just because it did feel like Chronicles of Narnia a little bit and it lacked that originality, kind of. But all in all, it was a hella good book. I still have yet to read the 2nd book in this series, and the 3rd book comes out next year, so I have the 2nd book, and I'm gonna be getting the 3rd book regardless. So yeah, this one is good. Definitely, obviously, high top tier right there. Now, we're almost done, you guys. This is taking so long, but I need to just stop talking so much. I keep saying that and then I keep talking a lot. The next book that we're going to be ranking is Maybe in Another Life, which is by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is going to be a nice little palate cleanser because this one was good. I thought that this would be super relatable for me because it's about a woman in her 20s. It's a nice little palate cleanser, but it's not my all-time favorite, and I think that it was good, but it wasn't anything more than that. The next book that I have is we have Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. This one is going to Fly Me to the Moon because this one is so good. The 2nd book is coming out next year and I'm so excited for it. I had so much fun reading this. Think like Vampire Diaries meets Bridgerton meets Gossip Girl in a book. This is a YA book, but it's hella good. Like, I'm so excited for the 2nd book. Definitely a 5-star. The next one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is also going to be a 5-star. You guys, this one is also YA, but this one had me sweating. There was a chase scene in this, not trying to spoil anything, but I straight up thought I was getting chased and I was like, my heart was giving palpitations. Like, this book is so good. The Netflix series, I don't think that the Netflix series is all that great, but the book is so good. I still have to read the 2nd and 3rd, but yeah, I put off reading this for so long, and I'm so glad that I finally did because it's literally so worth the hype. It's so good, you guys. Like, I was eating this shit up. I could not put it down. I literally had to read this like all the way through and not stop once because it was so good and I had to know what was going on. So yeah, definitely worth the hype. It's so good. All right, and then we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one, I'm so sorry for... Actually, I'm not. I'm not sorry for putting it in this category. It's in Who Thought This Was a Good Idea. I could not get over the food in this I don't even know if I can say that. Can I say that? The description for the food was like overkill. It was so uncomfortable. I'm like, okay, it's so descriptive, like amazing writing, but also why couldn't you use this writing for the actual plot? Like why are you just highlighting and writing basic like food? Like just it was like too much for me, and also it was very insta-lovey. This felt like a Colleen Hoover book, and although I like some Colleen Hoover books, a majority of them I do not like. So the people who liked Colleen Hoover probably are the ones who liked this, but I just could not get over it. It was so insta-lovey, so just like, it just was weird. I don't know. Not for me. I couldn't understand it. It just wasn't for me. So yeah, that one's going in the bottom category. Sorry. Okay, and then the last one that I have is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And this one's going to We Were All Rooting for You. This one is kind of similar to Never Lie. I read Rock, Paper, Scissors first, but I remember the plot twist, and the plot twist was like, I felt stupid. I literally was so confused when I read it because I'm like, hang on. And I had to go back in the book, like flip to the front. And I'm like, was I reading this the incorrect way? Like, what the fuck just happened? And I was so confused. I was like, do I like that? Like, did I like that plot twist? Yeah, I felt like a complete idiot. However, it was so good. I think I read it in one sitting. I remember specifically sitting right by my fireplace and I was like, this is just like so fun. Like I loved this. So yeah, it's definitely a solid read. It's not my favorite of all time, but it's going in the We Were All Rooting For You category. All right, y'all. I am actually going to now rearrange these from best to worst based off of the tiers that they're in. So 1 second, let me just reshuffle. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, so this is the final ranking list for how I would order these books based off of my current opinion of them. Future me is probably going to look back and be like, girl, what are you talking about? But for now, this is how I would rank them. If you want to pause it just to see, go ahead. Actually, I'll just make it full. I'll make it full. We'll just plop it right on there. That's all for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm so excited for this journey on YouTube, and I'm so grateful for all of you for clicking on today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun making this for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you for sticking with me. I know that this was a long haul, but we made it, and if you guys ended up reading these books as well, please let me know in the comments down below your thoughts, how you ranked them, what you thought of those books. Don't include spoilers because nobody likes those. If you have not already, I will link my Goodreads down below and also my Fable. I'll link those two down below if you want to follow me to keep up with my current reading. And yeah, I'm so excited for this next year. I have so much planned already for this channel, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go. Have a safe holiday and safe New Year's. I love all of you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Mwah! Au revoir! Peace!